Welcome back, you lovely people. This is my third video here at Manor Park Classics for our Saturday the 13th of April sale, and it's almost spring. I'm here in my big boy coat. It's just finished raining, but don't think about that. Think about the fun you could have when the sun comes out if you had this. If you had, I think, the best colour, I love yellow cars, 2005 Porsche Boxster. This is going to be great value for money. What's the best Boxster? The 3.2. What's the gearbox you want? The manual, big engine, manual gearbox, 85,000 miles, so really nice mileage. Enough mileage that it's done some stuff. Got a great history, this car as well. Factory spec, and like I'll say it again, I just adore yellow Porsches. Really, really good news. This is going to be, I think, about 8.5 to 9.5 grand this. They're quick old stick, these as well, you know, 280 brake, 0 to 60 in about 5.5 seconds. The Boxster always had a bit of a bad rap against the 911 because obviously the 911 is the bigger brother. They deliberately didn't put a diff in the Boxster because it's too good. If you've ever driven one of these on track, you will know they're a phenomenal thing. And I say for under 10 grand, you could buy that in the best colour. Monster history, monster bills with that as well. So have a look. If yellow's not your colour, the gentleman coming through, sir, come through. We're very busy today. We've got a lot of people viewing. This gentleman's going to walk through. Get in the warm, sir, get a brew on. So 2000 this one, another 3.2, another manual. Cannot convey, guys, how much fun. Obviously this is the early one, this one. Guards red, Savannah trim, 73,000, tons of invoices and receipts. Whichever generation you prefer, whichever shape. There's a lot of people do like the fried egg cars though, as they're known, because of the shape of headlight. You couldn't go wrong with either. And if you've never driven one, just ignore the naysayers. People that say a Boxster isn't a proper Porsche, isn't a great car, have clearly never driven one, and they've clearly never driven one quickly, because they are actually one of the most entertaining cars, and for the money, the most entertaining. I'll put it into perspective. You could buy this car for somewhere between 5 and 6 grand probably on Saturday. And what a thing. It's got the aero kit on it as well. And have a look inside. You can look through the rainy window. Drives and presents very, very well, that one. It's got the turbo look wheels, sound system, it's got the deflector, tint top screen, uprated radio cassette. This was a 42.5 grand car when it was new, and you could buy it for 5 or 6 grand. There you go. Other Porsches that you need to have in your life, or other Porsches I would very much like to have in my life, is this. I adore 944s because of the pop-up headlights. You could argue the 968 is a slightly better car, and this is a 968 Sport. So if you can't quite stretch to a CS, and not many of us can anymore, they've become very, very expensive. This is the next best thing. So 1995, 968 Sport, 2 former keepers, and the current owners had it since 1997. So nearly all of its life. Sport model, Panasonic radio, original spec, lovely unmarked upholstery, 17 stamps in the service book on that car as well. It's got a cherished number plate that stays with it as well, an original book pack and wallet. Now it is raining, so I can't do my normal paint evaluation, but I already know this car is pretty good. It's got the roof as well. I have to say the wheels have been refurbished, I would say relatively recently. They look very good too. But as I say, just provenance and condition, we know an awful lot about this car. We really do. Because it's been with the same owner since 2 years after it was registered. Isn't that a fabulous looking thing? I do still think they are undervalued at the moment. As I say, 14 to 16,000 pounds. Don't forget, we broke the UK record for a 944 here with that beautiful Porsche restoration that belongs to our friends at Fast and Funded. That was 50 grand pretty much. That's 14 to 16. That's a lot of fun for the money. Now you may have noticed it rains a lot in the UK. I don't think we've actually had a day where it hasn't rained since Christmas. So if you were going to buy a sports car known for its great power, which one would you buy? Well, I would argue you'd buy a 997 because in my humble opinion it's the prettiest of all the 911s. I'm massively biased, I do have one, because you get the nicer lights. They're the last of the small 911s. This is a manual, which is what you really, really want, but it's a Carrera 4S, so you get the beautiful shape, the petite and perfect body, you get the manual gearbox, but you get 4-wheel drive, which I would argue today, if you were booting it, you'd probably quite appreciate. This one's only had 3 previous owners, 91,000 as I say. It's got the short shift kit on, which is very nice, the sports exhaust, which is lovely, makes just the right amount of noise, nothing too leery. Silver with black, which is always nice, but come with me, Fraser. Let me show you why you want this one. Because either you get the GTS or the 4S or the Turbo, what they all have, it's this is what you're buying. It's the wide arch, it's the wide body, and to me they are just the most beautiful. When you sit behind either a 4S or a GTS, they just look so good because they've got that lovely wide bottom. It's got lovely history on this as well. It's been to some good places, been to Jasmine Porsche Lincoln Lancashire. It's just had a service in February 2024, which was a service and brake fluid change. And in 2022, the car had a major recommission to the tune of £7,700. And let me just tell you how much this car will be. Somewhere between 19 and 21, just been serviced, proper vendor, thank you for that. And as I say, 2 years ago, nearly 8 grand spent on it. So there's a car to enjoy and not have any worries about, particularly if you like to boot it in the weather, because you can put the power down. And it does have plenty. Another lovely, 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 lovely car. Look at this, great colour. So this is a 2009-96 Carrera 2. This is the sweet spot for me. So real purist choice, this one, narrow body Carrera 2 manual. There will be people out there shouting at the screen now going, I want this car. Look at this, got everything right. It's got the later non-fried eggs facelift lights, original spec, 15 stamps in the book, serviced in June of last year by Jasmine Porsche Link again. IMS bearing has been done, you'll be very pleased to know as well. Super options on this, aluminium gear shift and handbrake, rear wiper, again because it rains every day, that's good to know. Top tint screen, CD radio, GT3 alloy option as well. They were factory fitted and optioned in. 12 to 14 grand, this is the purest choice. Really super little thing that's the narrow body rather than the wide body, but I would very much find garage space for this. If you haven't driven a Carrera 2 996, they're lovely because they are so small and so light and so petite, and compared to the later 991s and 992, the car that's out now, they are tiny. If you park one next to it, you'd be amazed how small this suddenly looks. So they fit in a standard parking space, the standard garage, mega entertaining, relatively simple. The only thing you have to watch is the IMS bearing, and this one's been done. So there you go, 14 to 16, sorry, 12 to 14. I'm overvaluing it. It might make 14 to 16. All it needs, as far as I can see, apologies that it's wet, a little bit of refurbishment on those beautiful GT3 wheels, and you will have a perler, my friends. That is a gorgeous little car, that one. Another car that I've always adored, little tiny dent in the bumper, that will come out with heat. If you get a heat gun on that, that will pop out with a bit of massaging. 2009 Nissan 350 GT. Proper Z car, hairy chested Z car with a manual gearbox, rear wheel drive, fabulous interior. Come and have a look at this interior, Fraser, through the window. What a colour. Great service history, fresh MOT on it as well, one owner from new. Stunning colour combination. It is a really nice colour combination. It's like a tungsten silver. And what is that colour called? It's like a baseball, isn't it? That. So it was registered on the 30th of January 2009. One owner, full service book with 9 stamps in it, original book pack, and as I say, a fresh MOT. Vendors that MOT a car prior to putting it into the sale, they know they've got a good car and they're prepared to prove it. So that car is ready with a fresh MOT for you to enjoy. Now, something completely different. Any of those, if you want to have something sporting, fun, entertaining, dare I say a little bit leery, there's a reason that so many of these get turned into drift cars, because they are very good at going sideways. This won't go sideways, but it will allow you to do war radio, basically, if that's your thing. It's very big. Now, this is affectionately known as DD, and bearing in mind I'm 6'4", you can see she's a big girl. She's a larger lady. It's a magnificent thing, 1949 Austin K9 in good driving condition. It drives beautifully, this. It's got 10,000 miles on it, restored to RAF radio repair specification with a 4-litre 6-cylinder petrol. I can't imagine this does many miles to the gallon, but this would be the kind of thing you can have some fun with. This could be a lot of things, couldn't it? It's been restored back to radio specification. You could make it into an amazing overland camper, or this would be phenomenal for promo. Come and have a look around here, Fraser. Come and have a look at the side profile. That is an imposing vehicle. Wouldn't that make the most epic overland camper? It really would. Let me give you a little bit about it. I say 6-cylinder petrol. It was stationed at RAF Duxford and RAF Houghton Park, and then it's been recommissioned fairly recently and apparently drives really, really well. What is that worth? Well, £6,000 to £7,000 if you'd like one of those. It's in very nice condition, I have to say. It's pretty level. Here's a bit of fun. A camper van that you can stand up in even if you're 6'4". Now, I am 6'4". I have stood up in this very camper van. It's a 1971 Type 2 camper van, on the button and ready to go. It's had repaint at some point. Like a lot of camper vans, I'd imagine it's got a little bit of filler. Looking at some of the panel fit here, it's had panels. It's It's a good van. It's not going to be a concours van by any stretch of the imagination, but it's not concours van money. What it does have, which I really like, are these amazing wheels. These are like an aftermarket Porsche wheel. So imagine it's on a drilled hubs. If you don't want those, if you buy this van, the original wheels are inside, come and see me at the end of the sale. I'll buy those Porsche wheels off you. Imported from Germany in 2006, MOT and tax exempt of course as well. It's got a 1570 engine, so she bowls along. Now these high tops, obviously not quite as pretty as some of the vans we're going to see in a moment, but if you're actually wanting to live in it and use it as a bit of a camping pod, they are much better. So if you can forgive the aesthetics, the actual living space as a camper van is superior. So we're getting into the season, so do have a look at it now. It's had a refurbished engine, a new carburettor and a new exhaust fitted by a previous owner. So there you go. It runs, drives, start, stop. It's an earlier bay window, so it's got the prettier lights at the bottom as well. I like that a lot. You could make it yours, kind of knock the edges off, make a super little car out of it. But most importantly, have some fun in the meantime. That's the thing. If you're enjoying it and going away in it, and having weekends and memories out of it, if you're spending money as you go, you won't mind, because it's an enjoyable thing. Now here's a bit of fun. What a lot of people like to do, or theorise you'd like to do, Jamie Oliver did it, is to get a camper van, which of course is a 4-cylinder air-cooled engine, and then stick a Porsche 6-cylinder air-cooled engine in. The problem with that is, it's a brilliant idea, it is possible to do it. It's horrendously expensive. If you look at the price of air-cooled Porsche engines, it's not an easy or cheap thing to do. A much cleverer thing to do, because it's much more cost effective but no less brilliant, is to put a Chevrolet Corvair engine in, because the Corvair, as the name suggests, is also air-cooled. So this van has exactly that. It's a bit of genius actually. So this is a 1970 Type 2 camper van with a 2.4 litre Chevrolet Corvair 6. So it's got a lot more shovel than the standard van. Manual car showing 49. Have a look at the interior, it's really gorgeous. I can't open these, unfortunately they are locked outside these. It was imported from California, so it's really nice on the body as well. Registered in the UK in 2011, it had a recent recommission in September 2023 and an engine service to the sum of £1,000. Super nice interior this. I really like the idea. Let's see if it's open, I can show you. Yes I can, look. Look at this. Look at this, Fraser. Check it out, that looks like it should go there, doesn't it? It's really common conversion in America. Corvair engines go in a lot of things. Camper vans, sandrails particularly. So it's a well-trodden path. It's not like someone's come up with this amazing idea. So there are lots of specialists, lots of spare parts, and this one's just been serviced. It's nicely finished, even got the spare wheel cover in the back there as well. That's going to be 10 to 12 grand. But unlike bay windows, I have a split window and a Type 25, which is the one that came after this. They're not the fastest on the motorway, if I'm honest, but this one, I think this will keep pace with modern traffic. I bet that does 70 miles an hour. As I say, 10 to 12 grand. And if you come around the front of this one, Fraser, I do love an MP5 space. There you are. So this is very pretty. 1972 Type 2 camper van, an attractive camper conversion. I would say that's very fair to say that. Very pretty looking van. Now you can tell here, let's get very nerdy, shall we? So this is a factory bus, basically. The way you can tell is how the rubbers sit on the sides. This left the factory with windows. This is a conversion to, this was a panel van. So the way these windows sit in, this was a commercial that's been converted into van. Makes it no less brilliant, just started life in a different way. So this is lovely, right-hand drive this one, estimated at 8 to 10, 72,000 miles showing, and we think that's real actually, we think that's genuine mileage as well, because it's been with the current owner for a very long time, and it had a restoration between 2008 and 2009 at a cost of £16,000. Wow, someone spent a lot of money. It's just starting to come through on a couple of seams, so if you want it to be absolutely perfect, just give yourself some budget to do that, but it's very straight and very level. As I say, a huge amount of money spent onto that. That's a pop top as well, so you can have a much more room inside but have a lower profile, because the problem with the high top vans, they can use a bit of fuel, because obviously you've got a lot more to get through the air. It's like taking a house brick through the air. But not that this is going to be brilliant on fuel, because no old Volkswagen is, but these are a little better. I think that's a very cute, very handsome little van. It sits nicely, it's a little bit lower, it's got the MP5s on as well, and if you've got 8 to 10 grand, you can take that home. Summer holidays, these do hold the money. If you look after them and keep on top of them, you never lose money on an old Volkswagen, and you'll have all that fun in the meantime. And there's so many events and shows you can take it to, because they're welcome at every classic car show, but also there's the whole host of Volkswagen events. This is my my childhood basically. I grew up with air-cooled Volkswagens. My first car was a Beetle, and then into buses. They are mega, absolutely mega. Something completely different. I'm very excited about this. I'm going to put my cards on the table. I might have to have a cheeky bid on this. I think it will actually trot up to quite a decent number. 1990 Citroen BX 16 TZS. Now we know that we lost the amazing designer Marcello Gandini, the man responsible for some incredible cars, including the Lamborghini Countach. But this was one of his superb designs. It was actually originally a design for Reliance, believe it or not. And then he sold it to Citroen. Don't these still look good? I can remember seeing one of these. I think it was in '84 when I first saw one. I was in France, and it was, or France if you're posh. And I saw a really early one. I just remember as a kid thinking, what an incredible looking car. And haven't they aged phenomenally well? This is a 1990. It's got 69,000 miles. It is an auto, self-leveling suspension, really nice colour. Now the Citroen BX 19s are worth so much money now, so much money. I can't really afford one of those. But I don't think this is going to be enormous amounts of money. And have a look inside. They're just so quirky. This is Citroen at the height of its powers. Look, you've got the mono spoke steering wheel, really funky auto shifter. If you come back here, look, Fraser, these later BXs got this little cool facelift opera window put in the side. I remember seeing those when they first came out. Factory fitted rear spoiler. Hasn't it got so much about it? It's got a heck blender on the back as well. That could, if that was manual, that would fetch absolute fortunes, but I think I actually prefer the fact it's an auto because it's going to be an ultimate waffmobile. They've even put parking sensors on, look. There you go. So you're not going to back it into anything. Loads of receipts and invoices. Got dim dip. It's a Solex, not a Weber, because that was replaced. It's got DRLs fitted, rear parking sensors, rear parking camera, sunroof deflector, under bonnet LED. Someone has loved this car. Look, it's got a Citroen Car Club sticker in the back. This car is screaming that somebody has cared for it and loved it, because it's in really nice condition. A couple of tiny little dimple dents on the door there. But you know what, I reckon that's 200 or 300 quid away from being an absolute minter. And I love the fact it's got those original trims on. Aren't they just so right for the car, those aero trims? What a fabulous thing. Our consignment team have absolutely nailed it for this sale. We know at the moment it's a funny market, the used car market at the moment, but what is really selling is stuff under 20 grand. It's flying off the shelves. So what we've tried to do with this sale is really make it about stuff that's affordable and fun, stuff that you don't have to type too much money in. You can just enjoy, and that's what this sale's all about. So have a look at this. Come around to the front. This is a handsome car. In my first video, we did a really nice 230 CE. This is a lovely 300 CE. It's a little bit more power, a little bit more wallop, this one. 125,000, it's an automatic, fresh MOT, a large history file, even with a spare key. Love the colour. I would say it's had some good paint on this wing, but this colour is an absolute swine to match. So I can see even in the rain, there's a tiny colour difference there. A little bit of curbing on the alloys. Interior's in fabulous condition. Look at this fabric. It's one of my favourite Mercedes fabrics, this. It's like a turquoise green and blue. And of course, being a Mercedes, it's so hard wearing. They're almost like bulletproof, those fabrics. And we'll try and tell you a little bit about that. Automatic locking differential, cruise control, exit lights on the door, lovely service history, invoices and receipts, mainly in its early life, so we've got a little bit of a gap towards the end, but loads of MOTs and tax discs, and even the original spare key. There are 26 stamps in the book, to be fair. So she's got a bit of a story to tell. That is not going to be an expensive car, that, at all, because that's a no reserve car. You get to tell me how much you think that is. And like I always say, this stuff, 90s, noughties cars, so usable. Use it every single day, lantern guard it, rust seal it, and have some fun with it. And beat the system, like this. Now you'll have seen the Rover version of this, and you'll know that the Rover, this shape Rover, was a joint effort with Honda. And bizarrely, now you could get this model in Japan, and that was really desirable because that had double wishbone suspension and all sorts, but really bizarrely, we actually made this model on the Rover plant line here in the UK. And this is one of them. Now you'll see a few of the Rovers left, but not many. This is hen's teeth rare, hen's teeth rare. And I would wager on its automatic gearbox, original weird trim specification, if you want to come along to the Festival of the Unexceptional with me, with Haggerty, later in the year and bring this, be prepared to get swarmed like a rock star, because this is a very special car. So we've put Festival of the Unexceptional on the listing. I couldn't agree more with that. Have a look inside there. It is just a sea of tweed. 67,000 miles, automatic, so rare. So original, such lovely condition as well. Very highly spec'd. But I mean, again, it's a slow old dog. It's a 16 valve engine, but they're pretty basic and pretty slow. But do you really care when you look this good and you've got something this special and unique? I would like to own that very much. I'd like to drive that to the Festival of the Unexceptional. I'll tell you what I'm going to do as a Haggerty ambassador. If you buy this car on Saturday, come and see me at the end. I will get you a ticket because I think it's nearly sold out. I'll get you a ticket to the Festival of the Unexceptional because we'd so much like to have that car there. What's it got? Say 67,000 miles, amazing condition. It's the dual carb, inline 4, 16 valve, tilt sunroof, stereo cassette, and the paint is great, isn't it? How shiny that looks on camera is how shiny it is. That's a lovely, lovely car. And the price of that, my friends, is no reserve. I have to have a bid on that as well. Isn't that awesome? And as we say in every video on that one rare car, find me another. Find me another, particularly in that condition. This is fun for a rainy day. BMW 318 Ci. I do like these. M Sport Convertible, no reserve, great colour as well. Is it manual or auto? Let's have a look. It's manual. It's a drift machine. Is that a nice car? So you could buy this for really quite sensible amounts of money. It's done 101,000, low owner car with a full book pack, factory standard spec, and just a nice colour. So I haven't got massive amounts of information. It's got some good options on it. Got the M Sport kit, the 18-inch alloys on there, the M Sport steering wheel. You get the nicer bolstered seats on the M Sport cars as well. I don't think that needs much, you know, maybe a little bit of an alloy refurb. The hood's in pretty decent condition. I think you might want to just re-dye the hood. But like I say, not easy to find in unmolested condition. A lot of these got modified. Not an expensive car to run being a 318 either, and being a manual, huge amounts of fun. So a little bit of cheap summer fun. It looks like you spent more than you have. Always love cars like that. This next car here, I've got to say, Jaguar XK8. What a nice eyeful this is. 2001 car now. Also, this is my favourite XK8 wheel, this one. I think they look really good, these 7 spokes. And also, because they're on a slightly taller tyre, they ride really well on those. There's a lot to love here, guys. Let me talk you through the bits that you'll really like. The colour, obviously. The interior combination, I think, is particularly pleasant, with the sand leather in there as well. Say 53,000 miles, 3 former keepers, been with the current owner since 2007, and a modified timing chain in 2011. So maybe do another one about now. Book pack and wallet, operational roof, complete with hood cover and 3 sets of keys. What is not to love about that? And then the absolute kicker, the thing that makes it take it home, no reserve. So on sale from the first bid. That's a level old stick, you know. These cannot be this cheap for long. Again, summer fun. Buy cars that don't cost huge amounts of money that offer huge amounts of fun. Find yourself a good specialist and just win at life. You might buy that for a few thousand, 53,000 miles. And that reg stays with it as well. Now this one, I love the colour of this. What is this colour called? Let me see if I can find what this colour's called. Let me have a look. 298 horsepower, this one. This is the 4.2, 168,000 miles. So higher mileage, this one. But you would never know. Wow. So it is a high mileage car, but my word, it's had an easy life because the paintwork is immaculate. The interior is very, very clean. 2 previous keepers. Owned by a prominent member of the Jaguar car club. There you go, that explains an awful lot. And we said in the listing here, it looks like 68,000 miles, not 168. I would agree with that. It's incredibly clean. Loads of invoices, previous MOTs. I'd say been with the current owner for 11 years. Correct good years for the year as well. That is going to be very price rangey, guys. You're going to buy that for not a huge amount of money. And the colour is just fabulous, really jumps out, that colour. Another SLs, we always have at least 5 SLs in every single sale. This is cute, isn't it? SL 500, no reserved. V8, full fat, 71,000 automatic. Been with the current owner for 17 years. And the fact it's the V8, if you're going to buy a soft top, you know, this is the last few decades of the motor car. Get one with a massive V8 engine because they make wonderful noises and they go really fast. Bright silver with light grey. I'll let Fraser come and have a little peek through the window. And as I say, 17 years with the previous owner. CD player, AMG alloy wheels really make a nice touch on that as well. With a full dealer service pack, all the books as well. There's only stick stamps in the book, so you might want to do a bit of history digging, but there's a good MOT history. There's a pump, an ABC pump in 2023 for £1,000 as well, so that's good to know that that's been done. And it's not perfect, but it's good level car. There's a few bits to do, little scuff on these bumper trims here. I'd refurbish the alloys, but again, no reserve car, so you're going to have a lot of fun buying that. You're going to make V8 noises when you drive around, and then you can make it perfect whilst you enjoy it. If you want to go a little bit later on your SLs, this is a 360, so a slightly smaller engine, again with a gorgeous glass roof. This one's done 60,000, automatic of course as well, 2 owners from new, last service in December 2023. This means money that they've spent so you don't have to, and a matching set of Pirellis. So this is lovely. So it's got the larger grille on this as well, being the later car, and it's the facelift as well. That's a bit of an eyeful, that, isn't it? Now, what will you spend on that? That will be 10 to 12. That's going to be a little bit more money because it is a bit special, but it's an awful lot of car for 10 to 12 grand, isn't it? I mean, that, if you don't know your Mercedes, if you put a personalised reg on that, I defy most normal people to tell me what year that car is. I think this is when the SL with the facelift gets particularly handsome in this shape. I think that's a great looking car. And moving on to this is brilliant. Look at this. 2000 Alfa Romeo GTV Twin Spark. This is a no reserve car. How on earth have we managed to get that in at no reserve? The thing about no reserve, people always ask me about this. Say, no reserve lots, Paul. If I put my car in at no reserve, will it therefore make less money? Well, no, because Julian, our auctioneer, is very, very good at making sure that the room or the online room pays the exact right amount of money that the car is worth. He is brilliant at that. But also what you'll find is if a car starts, and it will probably start this at say 500 quid, it will trot up into the thousands of that, I'm sure. But when you've got people buying and bidding and reassuring each other of what's happening, they find their perfect price. When people feel confident and comfortable, they'll pay what a car is truly worth. So actually, what you often find is when you put a car in at no reserve, it fetches more money than had you reserved it. And I think this would be a classic case in point. 2 previous keepers, low recorded mileage, 15 services since 2007, and the cam belt was replaced last May. So all the questions you would have on this car, what colour do you want an Italian car in? In red, it's the right colour as well. It's a Phase 2A car, original spec. That screams future classic. We will be looking at these in 5 or 10 years time, all wishing we'd bought one when they were price rangy and tucked it away. Look at that, Rosso with black leather, and the leather's in really nice condition as well. If you've not driven one of these, they're ridiculous amounts of fun. And on these little wheels, they drive really nicely as well. So it's showing 38,000 miles. Now, we don't have all the history to prove that, but everything about this car, particularly the seats, not denigrating Italian cars in any way because I love them, but they don't wear miles very well. So if a car has 138,000 miles or has been in some way modified or changed, I wouldn't have imagined it would wear like that. So we haven't got the original service history, so bid knowing that, but it does have a big bundle of invoices from 2007 and we've got 15 services showing. I think that could be an absolutely phenomenal car. So there you go, lots of wonderful things out here in the rain. Hopefully by Saturday we'll have the sunshine and you can enjoy them. We might even put some of the roofs down for you as well. But make sure you've liked, subscribed, rung that bell, and of course if you see anything you like, register to bid. Or come here in person because the fun starts 9 o'clock on Saturday.